Eugene, E-U-G-E-N-E, Klein, K-L-E-I-N, Illinois Chapter, Service Disabled Veteran Business Owners.
Please proceed.
Part of the challenge that veterans have, and especially veteran business owners, is communications. There are a lot of programs that are made available on the federal, state, and local level, but the communications out to the marketplace, specifically the veteran-owned businesses, is not what it needs to be. There needs to be a venue for that information to be disseminated. Also, when you look across the Chicagoland area, there are a lot of veteran service organizations below the level of VFW, American Legion, and DVA. A lot of independent organizations that are doing good things, but they're all independent, where if you had a central voice, they could work together, be more efficient, and help more veterans. The issue that we have as veterans today is there are a lot of programs. I have personally lobbied for a lot of the programs, but when you look at the veterans that are in need of help, for the lack of a better word, they're ignorant as to what is available for a multiplicity of reasons. Some veterans come out and they want to hide because they've got problems, and that is something that we can no longer do. By putting a channel out there for communications, we give the opportunity for veterans to help veterans, for business to be available of what veterans are out there. To look towards the Veterans Administration under the current, I'll call it crisis, is not realistic. They do the best they can. It's time for business, small business, and the communities to make this part of reality. Those veterans of the current conflict have given their all. I think it's a small request to make, to disseminate information, to have services available that they can find without having to go to a crisis line or be in crisis. We're doing as good a job as we can on the crisis side, but the best type of crisis is crisis prevention. Getting to the veterans, finding them jobs. If you look at the unemployment numbers and you know the local numbers for both veterans and service disabled veterans, my personal goal is not to have somebody 5 years from now do a survey and find that veterans from the current conflict are unemployed, divorced, homeless, and living on the street. That provides absolutely nothing for us. These veterans that are coming out, especially those that were called up for the Reserve or National Guard, left their families, left their livelihoods, and now they come back to something totally different. If you look at some of the numbers that are proposed when we bring home 70,000 troops, which will be mostly Reserve and Guard, the governmental estimate is 35,000 of those will be unemployed. And when you look at the potential that they don't have insurance because now they're unemployed, that falls on the state. That's not the solution we need. We need to be able to do a better job as these veterans come out, communicate, and I'll say the Department of Defense does what they can, but that's not their first job. It becomes back to us, and that's what the Veterans Cable Television programming is all about. Help veterans help themselves. So I thank you very much for your consideration. This is a very worthy cause, and I think when you look back on it, it'll be a credit to the city of Chicago, which does a lot for veterans. If you were down at the University of Illinois Chicago for the Welcome Home, and you saw the response there and the number of veterans that were taken off the street by the people that were there. Now, if you get that communications out, how many more people can we help? I thank you very much for your time and your consideration of this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.